14-day Germany, Switzerland, and Austria tour with Rick Steve. Let's go! Before Brian and I joined our Rick Steve tours in Koblenz, we spent 2 nights here in Bacharach first, a charming medieval village along the Rhine River. With its cobblestone streets and half-timbered houses, it's small enough to explore in a short time. We hike up to the Postturm or Post Tower for an amazing view of the village and the winding Rhine. It was a short uphill walk through the vineyard from the town. The view is just amazing. We also visited Burgstallach, a castle-turned-hostel with a stunning courtyard view. We didn't stay there, but we enjoyed a coffee and soak in the scenery. Definitely worth the climb. And we stayed here at Altkultnischer Hof, a centrally located hotel with historic charm and friendly staff. We'd gladly stay there again. Alright, next stop, Koblenz. Just an hour away by train. You can also take a boat, but the schedule's tricky and slower, so we opted for the train. Koblenz train station.
So to east of us, Germany, Austria and
Koblenz, one of Germany's oldest and most beautiful cities, is where we began our 14-day tour. This is the Kaiser Wilhelm Memorial, and it was impressive. The memorial remains today as a symbol of German unity. We climbed up the stairs and even went inside under the large statue. It was a great spot to see where the Moselle and Rhine rivers meet. That's actually where the name Koblenz comes from, meaning at the confluence or where the rivers meet. The next day, we visited Elf's Castle, a charming and well-preserved medieval castle tucked in the hills between Koblenz and Trier, Germany. It is still owned by the same family since the 12th century. The guided tour took us through some of the interior rooms and shared the castle's fascinating history. No photos allowed inside though.
So everyone, we're moving through Cochem at the moment. C-O-C-H-E-M, Cochem. This is probably one of the more significant towns on the River Mosel before you eventually reach Trier, which is, remember where that Prince Archbishop came from, the man who controlled Koblenz.
We had lunch in this charming town of Beilstein along Moselle. Afterwards, we hiked up to the historic Metternich Castle ruins and enjoyed the beautiful vineyard views. We also climbed the tower steps for an even better view.
How's everyone doing? Good.
Nestled at the edge of Black Forest in southern Germany, Baden-Baden is a stylish spot known for its famous thermal hot spring rich in salt and radon. of the two popular bathhouses in here, we chose Caracalla Term. It is perfect place to relax with its warm thermal pools, Roman-style saunas, and outdoor area in the castle gardens. Just what we needed after a long travel day. Hi! We also took a lovely walk along the Ouse River. The path is lined with 19th century hotels and homes, surrounded by trees, blooming flowers, and a clean, well-kept park. Very peaceful and scenic.
Now the farmhouse in you can see the
On our way to Switzerland, we stopped at the Volksbauernhof Open-Air Museum in Black Forest. It shows how people lived and farmed up to 600 years ago. The guided tour gave us a look into old house designs, farming methods, and daily life back then. One of the highlights was watching a working mill from 1609 in action. Welcome to Switzerland! We stayed in Murian for 3 nights at a charming village in the Alps.
difficult, very imagine. I wonder on the other side of
On our first day, we visited Schildhorn, a mountain summit in the Bernese Alps. The cable car ride to the top was amazing! We were grateful to have a clear weather and enjoyed stunning views of Eiger, Monk, and Jungfrau, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, along with over 200 other peaks. If you're a James Bond fan, you'll love the revolving restaurant at the summit featured in a 1969 film on Her Majesty's Secret Service. We check out the James Bond Museum there too. The views on the way up and down were breathtaking, and the trail walk at Birg made the trip even more exciting. In the afternoon, we hiked the North Face Trail via Almenhubel, one of my favorite hikes ever. We started at Schildhorn Cable Car Station and followed the loop clockwise. The trail begins as wide paved path with an easy climb and a great view over Murian right from the first hill. It soon turns into a narrow dirt trail through farmland. This hike had a bit of everything: breathtaking mountain views, charming chalets, quiet alpine meadows full of wildflowers, and pastures with grazing cows. The trail was well marked, though I still used my old trail map just to be safe. There were a few short climbs, but nothing was too hard. Well, maybe some parts. The full 5.12-mile loop took us about 4 hours, including a lunch break along the way. The weather was perfect! A truly unforgettable hike.
Takes just under 4 minutes. Thank you for visiting the Schildhorn area.
The next day, we explored Tramelbach Falls in Lauterbrunnen Valley. We started with a ride on an inclined elevator that took us up to the 6th level inside the mountain. From there, we climbed narrow, winding steps and saw powerful waterfalls rushing through the rocks. There are 10 levels in total, and the higher you go, the more exciting it gets as the force of water becomes even more intense. These glacier-fed waterfalls are hidden inside the mountain and made accessible by tunnels, stairs, and lights. A thrilling way to experience nature up close. We then explored the beautiful Lauterbrunnen Valley. After that, we hiked from the Lauterbrunnen Church, a striking Gothic building overlooking the village. And from there, we walked past the cemetery near the famous Tauback waterfall and followed an easy flat trail back to Stechelberg, where we took a cable car back to Murin. I really enjoyed seeing the cows with bells resting in the flower-filled meadows along the trail. The bells are a long tradition, once used to help farmers find their cows and now a symbol of Swiss culture. We also got to watch paragliders jumping off the cliffs in Murin. So cool!
You won't be able to shoot until it seems like too late. Oh, there it is. She was close.
That's terrible. I was like, uh-oh, I can't take a video.
Bleibet dabei, die Gedanken sind frei.
Our next stop was Munich, a beautiful city in southern Germany. We visited Marienplatz, the main square, and saw the new town hall, which has a clock that plays music with moving figures. We also climbed about 300 steps up St. Peter's Church, the oldest church in Munich, and enjoyed amazing views of the city. We also stopped by a stunning Baroque-style church near the residence. It's free to enter, but you need to be quiet since it's still used for worship. It's definitely worth a quick visit. And we had lunch at the famous Hofbrauhaus, a lively brewery with traditional Bavarian music, shared tables, and lots of history. Next, we toured the residence. A huge and impressive palace with many rooms, art pieces, and even a chapel. There was a lot to see for a limited time, but it was interesting to see most part of it. And after dinner, Habi and I took a peaceful walk to the river and enjoyed more of the city. Munich was a great place to visit. Into our next destination. On the way to Salzburg, Austria, we stop at Rodelbahn, a fun bobsled-style ride for all ages. You're pulled to the top of the track, then slide down in a small car, controlling your speed with a brake. I'm just glad that the weather was good during this ride, because I thought it would rain since it was overcast on our way here. It was exciting and fun, not just for kids. We also visited the famous Neuschwanstein Castle, a fairy tale-like castle built by King Ludwig in the 1800s. This beautiful castle sits high on a hill in Schwangau village. Photography isn't allowed inside, and afterward, we walked to Mary's Bridge, where we enjoyed the best view of the castle. And do you know that Disneyland Sleeping Beauty Castle was inspired by it? Who's a fan of the sound of music here? I am! Visiting Salzburg was one of the highlights of this trip. Seeing some of the film locations was exciting! This is the Marble Garden, where the Von Trapp children sang Do Re Mi in the movie. Salzburg is divided by the Salzach River, with the old city or Altstadt on one side and the new city Neustadt on the other. It is also the birthplace of the famous composer Mozart. We even saw the smallest house in Salzburg, and our tour guide surprised us with Mozart balls as a treat. We explored the old city and admired the Baroque architecture, visited the cathedrals and residences, and Mozartplatz, all while learning history from our great local guide. After lunch, Javi and I visited the Collegiate Church. Its interior is very simple, with just few altars, and it's often used for exhibitions and concerts. We also hiked up the Fortress Hohensalzburg, an impressive 11th century castle that overlooks Salzburg. Later, we attended a Mozart performance in the same place where he first played a composition at just 7 years old. It was another long but rewarding day. From there, we continued to the Wachau Valley, a stunning region of Austria known for its beautiful scenery. The town was quiet and peaceful, with fresh, clean air. My husband and I hiked up to the nearby church and explored the area around it. The next day, we visited the Melt Abbey, one of the largest and most beautiful burial complexes in Europe and part of UNESCO's World Cultural Heritage. Benedictine monks have lived and worked there since 1089. Perched on a hill overlooking the Danube River, the abbey's golden facade was breathtaking. Inside, photography wasn't allowed, but the richly decorated rooms with murals, gilded stucco, and antique furniture left a deep impression. The library was especially stunning with thousands of old books, and the painted ceiling was impressive. After our abbey visit, instead of taking the bus, we hopped on a boat cruise from Melt to Krems on our way to Vienna. This 24-mile stretch of the Danube is one of the most scenic river valleys in Europe. The 1.5 ride was relaxing with food and drinks available. And our guide even saved us a front row spot to enjoy the views. We passed charming wine villages, castles, vineyards, and other cruise ships. Watching it all drift by from the water made it even more special.
Thank you for trusting me the last 10 days. And today, of course. Thank you.
Thank you, well, the Renaissance. You're looking at their actual sketching.
Finally, we arrive in Vienna, Austria's grand capital city.
Also, notice this massive owl, a symbol of wisdom.
After checking in to our final hotel of the trip, we went on our last orientation walk and we met our local guide at St. Stephen's Cathedral. This magnificent church with its colorful tiled roof is one of Austria's most iconic landmarks. And from there, we strolled down Graben and Kolmart Street, a historic street with upscale retailers, street performers, and historic monuments. We then passed by the Sisi Museum at the Hofburg Palace, once the center of the Habsburg Empire. Though we didn't go inside, just seeing the palace exterior gave us a sense of its importance. We also checked out the House of Austrian History, one of Vienna's newest museum. Nearby, we saw the Swiss courtyard, the oldest part of the Hofburg Palace. The following day, we visited the Third Man Museum, a private museum created with pure passion. It's a must for film fans and anyone interested in Vienna's post-war history. Okay, for our final major stop, we went to Fine Art Museum, one of the greatest museums in the world. The interior itself was breathtaking, with marble columns, staircases, and statues. Inside, we admired art spanning 5 millennia from ancient Egypt to the modern era. That evening, we enjoyed our last group dinner together, the perfect way to end our journey.
Thank you. Party. Best thing about Steve's tours are the tour guides. And you are exceptional. So here is
Javi and I stayed in Vienna one more night before flying back home to Florida. We visited the Stephens Cathedral again, but this time we went inside and took the lift to the North Tower since the stairs were under construction at the time. From the top, we enjoyed the best views of the city, admired the colorful tiled roof up close. And even saw the Pomeran bell, made from the steel from abandoned Turkish cannons. After that, we walked through Stud Park, a lovely 19th century park with ponds, trails, and the famous golden statue of Johann Strauss. Our last stop was Belvedere Museum, where we didn't go inside but enjoyed its beautifully kept gardens. This was our first trip to Europe with a tour group, and choosing Rick Steve Europe was the right decision. Every local guide we had was incredible at sharing the history and culture of each place. Our main tour guide Michael was amazing! And along the way, my husband and I also made new friends. It was truly an unforgettable experience. On our last evening in Vienna, we attended the Wiener Mozart concert. It was a perfect way to end our trip. Until next time!